Good morning, everyone. I think my taste buds are back enough today that I can taste this and see what I think. We were in Carfagnas. Well, there's a restaurant on one side, and then the other side is a wonderful market. So, like, they have a pastry bakery place. They have a large meat counter. They have frozen products, lots of pastas, lots of olive oils. So on and so forth. And I saw this in the front, and there was a couple of them. They had like the Illy coffees that I've shown before. There's another one that I've seen floating around on Instagram that is available there. I don't remember the name of it, it's an interesting name. But I saw this, and there were like 3 varieties of this, and this is Mocha Floor. Roasted coffee blend produced and packaged by, because it's in a bunch of different languages. I think we've got Italian up here, American here, and then this, I believe, is German. So, yeah, there's a lot going on here. We research, select, and roast the coffee beans in the world since more than 70 years. Our blends are the result of work. And what really caught my eye about this, I mean, the gold packaging is beautiful. I'm gonna take a peek because I know I took a picture of it. The composition is 80% Arabica and 20% Robusta. The aroma is chocolate, vanilla, and caramel. The flavor is balanced notes of chocolate and nuts. So the composition, none of this matters, by the way. It is just there to sell product. Body, sweetness, aroma. So take those stats as you will. It's either the angle that I took the picture at, but it looks like sweetness is winning over body. That could be the angle I took it at. It could be an optical illusion, whatever. But that is this Mocha Floor Oro. And I'm sure I am pronouncing that completely wrong. But I saw that and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I flipped it over, and this is what got me. The product is telling you that it's good and excellent. It's just, I mean, amazing, absolutely amazing. The aroma is excellent, okay? The sweetness is good. Why are they gonna lie? The sourness is good. Body is excellent. The astringency is absent. If you taste any astringency, you are a liar, sir, or ma'am, or they, them. Creaminess is good. Why isn't it excellent? I have a problem with that. But look at they're telling you. They're telling you what you should expect. And any deviation from that is your fault, because we have found this to be true, because we printed it on this packaging. It's just absolutely hilarious. Artisanally crafted, slow and single origin roasting, minimum of 48 hours of degassing, relatable, recyclable packaging. So Arabica, it's Arabica from Central America, and then Robusta from India. I think I've gotten my taste and smell back enough to where I will be able to ascertain, and you know, we'll come back to it. We always come back to it. It's gonna go up in the cabinet. Actually, this is pre-ground, so it'll probably go down into the freezer, which, here's a strange thing. I've always been told that you should freeze your coffee, and then people have come back saying, unless you actually have a container that can keep all of the air out, you probably shouldn't freeze your coffee. So there's just a lot. Oh, wow, that is ground. Maybe this is for a maca pot? It's not dark roast. They had a dark roast there, and it was listed as a dark roast. So, but I'm not exactly sure the roast level of this. I just know that it is pretty. It is a product of Italy. Has a lot of Italian flair to it. I mean, it smells like nice coffee. Of course it smells like nice coffee. So let's do our ratio here. Let's do 32 grams of this coffee, and we'll do 400 milliliters of water. Let's see what that brings us to here. That's gonna be a lot of coffee coming out of here. The smell as it cascades out is actually kind of nice. There we go, 32 grams of coffee. Very, very powdery. Is that, I mean, the Illy that I've bought, it works. It was very ground, incredibly fine. The point where you look like you could dry brush something with it. Maybe that's just the way it is. So we're going to do 32 grams of this coffee. We're going to do it in the Chemex, and then we are going to add about, we'll do 350 milliliters of water and see what happens. But yeah, they didn't have it in bean form. They had it pre-ground, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I have preferences, but it's just a preference. It's not a necessity. You know what I mean? So that's almost done. And yeah, I just saw this and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty. What's it say about itself? Oh my God, it thinks it's amazing. So let's see, there's a Mocha Floor Coffee official on Instagram. There's a Facebook page, and then there's an oh, is that Indeed? It's probably Indeed. Great. Mochafloor.it. So Mocha Floor it. Okay, that's hilarious. So I mean, .it is obviously Italy, but Mocha Floor it. That's not how you pronounce it, but it's absolutely hilarious that I'm pronouncing it that way. Quite frankly, I'm fine with that. Coffee time and the living is sleazy. Let's give it a little bit of a wakey wake. A little bit of a bloom here. The powderiness kind of makes it so that it wants to float when it's this finely ground, which makes blooming a little bit of a hassle because you're always going to have some clumps at the top here that just don't get wet. So, but we are degassing now. Apparently 48 hours of degassing, which is, I guess that's something to brag about. I once burped for about 14 seconds. So I was pretty proud of that. There was a time in my life when I couldn't burp, or when I didn't know how. I think that probably makes more sense. Not that I couldn't, but I didn't know how. Because I always felt gas build up in my stomach, but I could not burp. And then it was like in my mid-20s when I'm like, oh, that's how it works, you know? So there's a big bubble. You gonna pop for me or no? You don't have to pop. I mean, you're still filling up with gas. I can see it expanding. Big bubbles. All right, it doesn't matter because we're gonna fill this thing up now. I'm going to do it nice and gently. Take it nice and easy. It tastes like a chocolate. It looks very chocolate in the color that it turns the water, which is actually kind of nice. Let's do about we'll get it up to 400. 400 seems fine. 32 grams of coffee, 400 milliliters of water. Just pour it in nice and easily. Now, and the other problem with having coffee, I went a little too far, that finely ground is it likes to choke stuff. It loves to choke paper. So the filtering down process can get choked really easily with a very finely ground coffee. This definitely seems like it's more espresso ground. It would make a really nice cake in an espresso machine after you pounded it down. Do ourselves a little bit of a swirl. Now what this does do though is make the drawdown a lot slower, which is ideal. Grab as much of that coffee flavor out of there as you can. That sounds like fun. I think the cold's getting better. I do feel a little bit better. Like I said, I can taste more. We had the chili last night that he made on Saturday evening, and I could definitely taste it much better. It was a lot nicer than I remember. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just that when you can't taste anything, it just doesn't matter. So it's like it can be the most delicious thing in the world, but if you're presenting it to somebody that's got the inability to taste anything at the moment, it's like, okay, you did it. This is this puts stuff in my stomach and I feel less hungry. You've done it. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and use Anna today. Anna, wherever you are. Your Star Trek Las Vegas Hilton mug is in use right now. 1997 Paramount Pictures. What a cool thing. It's unfortunate that the phaser's not coming out of the phaser strip. It's actually coming out of someplace, coming out of somebody's front-facing window. Imagine living in those quarters there. You can see everything coming. Wouldn't that be awful? It's like, yeah, we're right side up, they're right side up, and they're shooting me. What's happening? And there's Vegas in the background. We'll be using this today. Mocha floor. Just a lot going on here. Do not dispose this packaging in the environment after use, but throw it in the separate collection for plastic following the instructions provided by your municipality. If you ever want to know what that looked like in German, I'm not even going to begin to try to pronounce any of that. Very, very slow drawdown. As I said before, the tightness of the grounds, the more powdery the grounds look, the harder it is for a coffee to pass through it in any kind of a drip or drawdown. So, yeah, boy, that looks dark. Boy, that looks dark. Oh boy, I want a peppermint bomb now. We have to peppermint. We'll have to. I guess we'll have to mocha pot this next week. Maybe we'll do a mocha pot with it. Maybe this weekend we can try to find the lady with the coffee bombs. we'll mocha pot it and then coffee bomb it, and then yeah, look at that. See the bottom? It's like sand. It's like when you're watching a wave pass over sand. And then maybe there's a little pool, a hole, and then the sand takes a lot longer for it to draw down the water. It's just got a little bit more, I don't know, is the word viscosity? All right, it looks like mud. That is mud. That's pretty mud. I am not going to lie. That looks very mud. Oh, and I need a longer towel. Because, I mean, I'm up against this thing because I'm always leaning or moving, so I'm moving the towel just a little bit and then it falls. Okay, so flashback to high school. Oh, my God. I don't want to talk about it now. It's just too... It's probably not what everybody thought it was, but then again, it might have been what everybody thought it was, which makes it worse. Oh, my gosh. All right, well, now I got to talk about it. So we'll let this cool down for a second. The typing teacher at our high school, Mr. Vaughn, we might as well say his name. He's passed away a while ago. He was old when I was there. When they told me he passed away, I'm like, he hadn't already passed away 15 years ago? But anyway, so Mr. Vaughn was an older gentleman and at that time. Imagine Gargamel. I mean, sincerely. And it was a derogatory thing, and it was awful that we called him Gargamel. But he had the haircut. Well, it wasn't even a haircut. It was just his hair pattern. He had a hair pattern, and it looked just like Gargamel. So we called him Gargamel. Not to his face, although I think a couple kids did, and that went over well. But he had this tendency to go over to the very small windows where the heating system was and get a little too close and maybe rub the front of his pants up against it. I don't know what that was for. I don't know why. It could have been just a tick. It could have just been the way he leaned over to look outside. Because you're inside, there are no windows, there are these small slits for windows, there's no light to get in, and human beings most of the time crave light and outside, so, and if you're in a classroom where there are no windows for, the entire school year, it weighs on you. So, I mean, that's more than likely it. He just wanted to see the outside. The running theory, of course, you can dream that up in your head. So one day, I want to say that we're not the first class to come up with this. I will say our reaction, the reaction to what happened, it was the first time I had ever heard it in the 4 years that I went to that high school. So we're probably not the first class to go through it, but it was definitely the first time I ever heard it of anyone doing it. They took the chalk erasers, because back in the day, we used to write things on boards with chalk. And then we would have erasers that would erase that chalk off, which means our erasers were covered in chalk dust. So someone took that chalk-covered eraser and patted the front of that heat exchanger that he liked to lean against. And during the class, while we were doing whatever we were doing, he was the typing teacher. I don't know if he ever taught anything else, but he was the typing teacher. Back when you had typing teachers on actual typewriters, electric typewriters. He did what he does. He went out to look out the window, leaned on the heat exchanger, and then, you know, I don't know if he kind of swayed back and forth. I don't know. But he came back off of the heat exchanger, turned around, and started walking back to his desk. And everyone was anticipating that moment because we all stopped what we were doing and we all turned to look. And he had on his black pants, the entire front of his pants was covered in white chalk. I would say that as pranks go, it was the most harmless, but as rage goes, it was like someone had shaved his dog. You know, shaving dogs, not so harmless, can harm the dog, certainly can upset the owner, but can harm the dog. Chalk on the front of your pants, you can wipe that off. You know, you can go outside, dust yourself off. It's not too difficult, but it just felt like we shaved his dog. You know, he screamed at everyone in there. We knew who did it. And honestly, because subtlety hadn't been invented yet, he knew who did it because he was, the dude was the worst person in that class. So he knew exactly who did it. And at that point, I'll tell you, and maybe even still, but at that point, you really didn't need a lot of evidence. Because if you made trouble in one class, more than likely you've made trouble in several. So the burden of evidence was on, you know, the principal's desk due to reports of your behavior. So, and in small towns like that, small town schools like that, parents just were like, okay, sure, he did it. What do you want to do about it? You know, yeah, okay, he probably did it. My son's an asshole. And, you know, okay, give him detention. You know, what's detention going to do? I mean, sincerely, detention in the middle of a cornfield. What is that going to do? We lived in the middle of a cornfield. What is that going to do? And they couldn't afford to punish extracurricular activities because the football team was lacking in everything. So I'm pretty sure he was a football player. Anyway, so that's my long-winded rubbing up against the heat exchanger and knocking the towel off of the bar here. And I hope that you don't think that I'm doing that. Because, God, there's no reason for me to do that at all. I realize what I've just done. Oh, God. Okay, whatever. All right, mocha floor. Okay. All right, let's check the boxes here. Is the sourness good because I don't have any? It's really strange because there is a sweetness. There is an aroma. The aroma is, I mean, what does excellent mean? Is it checking off a box saying the aroma is excellent? Or are they saying that, you know, excellent, there's an aroma? What's your sentence structure there? The body is excellent. I mean, it's water with bean juice in it. I mean, body. Astringency. There is no astringency because it's burnt to fuck. And you know what's really kind of funny is that there is a creaminess to it. You know, there's and that's the mouthfeel. You know, you kind of get a nice little mouthfeel of it. There is a bit of a chocolate kind of taste, but I think that lends itself to the to the roasting process because, you know, these have to be shelf stable. There's little to no date on it with regards to how long you should have it. Yeah, there's no date on this that I can see. Even on the bottom, it's not stamped. I don't know how. Oh, I don't know how old this is at this point. I don't know how long it has existed in the world. Here's the. So this is the stamp that they put on it, and then this is the stamp that came on the bag from Italy. Even though it's this, no, it's a different number. The front's the same, 006987, 006987, but the back number is different. I don't know what that would have anything to do with. Trying to move the stock, probably, because nobody bought it. $9.99 was the price on this, and this is, they don't even give how many ounces it's in this, do they? Oh, 8.8 ounces. That seems like a lot. $9 for 8.8 ounces. You know, what are you going to do? 250 grams. Okay. All right. It's not bad. I mean, it tastes nice. It's, I would not put it in the special category. I would put it in, this is coffee that I could drink on the daily basis. It is inoffensive. It has a nice flavor to it. The ultimate goal of coffee is to wake you up, and this would certainly do it. I like it. I just spent 10 minutes telling you a Gargamel story. God, isn't that insane? How little things can just... I had forgotten about that whole incident until I knocked that towel down. And I'm like, wow. That's wonderful. I hope something today brings back a memory that may not be warm and fuzzy, but will help you remember your childhood in a happy light. I like that. I mean, was it pleasant for Mr. Vaughn? No. Did it give everyone in that room a chance to laugh? Yes. At the expense of another? Yes. But it was just chalk on his front pants, and if he hadn't been rubbing himself on that damn heat exchange, it wouldn't have happened. But kids are very observant. I hope something triggers a memory that's pleasant for you, that made you laugh, that made you feel good. Even if it's at the expense of somebody else, because you've grown into a person where you can look back and you can analyze that and you can say to yourself, you know what, that was wrong, and that was at someone else's expense, and I'm really sorry that happened. But at the time, I was a kid, and it was absolutely amazing. You can do that. We're human beings. We can step back and we can make those. We can make that train of thought work. You know, we can be like, I'm sorry that happened, but my God, was that funny. And like I said, we weren't the first class to do that, I'm sure, but it was definitely the first time I had ever heard of it happening. So I hope you have a great day today. I hope you have a wonderful work day and a good night, and we will come back tomorrow. We'll pick one of the two that I haven't opened up there of the, well, I think, yeah, there's two left. I shouldn't have bought the s'more time. I guess I was kind of hoping he would take the s'more time, because I had enough of that, I think. You know what? You just get tired of certain things. Have a great day. We will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.